Hello, Andrea.
Hi, Margie. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Loving Montana. Finally, the weather's nice.
Oh, yay. I heard it's beautiful right now. I can't wait to see it.
Truly gorgeous. Been doing some hiking, and the views are spectacular. So really nice.
Oh, my gosh. It's so pretty. And all the lakes, it's like really just one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, actually. Where you're at, actually. It's just unbelievable. So today we're talking with Andrea with Awaken Astrology. We're doing our new moon little chat, and so I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say today.
Oh, Margie, you know I love new moons. Another new moon and another opportunity to create a month with more consciousness. So just to refresh, so people get reminded that during a new moon, the sun and moon are conjunct. That means they're together physically or close together at the same degree, and they also work together. And the sun represents the source of our conscious awareness, and the moon are unconscious reactions. So they will be working together to give us an opportunity to bring our daily lives out into the light and into more awareness. And hopefully we'll be able to understand them from a higher perspective so that ultimately we can know ourselves better and make better choices.
Sounds perfect to me.
Yep. Okay, so this month with our new moon in Cancer, we begin our journey by understanding the characteristics of Cancer and how they can benefit our important relationships in our lives, including, of course, the relationship we have with ourselves. Cancer, it has the symbol of the crab, and the crab lives in the element of the water, and its awareness of the world comes from feelings. The moon rules the waters of the planet, and so it makes sense that the moon rules Cancer. And, you know, the crab carries its home with it wherever it goes. And so Cancer feels best when, and I'll say she, I'll call it she, the crab. She has a strong, established sense of home, giving her lots of stability and foundation. And whenever Cancer feels threatened, she will retreat within her shell or her home. And like all signs, Cancer has both positive and negative characteristics. So what I want to do is explore the characteristics of Cancer and see how they're going to be impacting relationships this month. And so I'll do a rough little overview so people can get the feeling of what Cancer's energy is all about. And it's about bonding, nurturing, and sustaining. Oftentimes, it's essentially the mother's energy because it's protective and it's instinctual. And it's interesting because I heard a true story once about a mother whose child was pinned under a car, and she actually retrieved the child by lifting up the car with her superhuman strength. So, isn't that interesting?
Yes, it's totally interesting. Yeah. And you can envision that happening also, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's the power, the protective, nurturing, instinctual power that comes from mother if she feels that her baby is in danger or child is in danger. So Cancer is very much about seeking and establishing a nurturing home for her family. Cancer's domain is called the fourth house, and that's the house of home, and everything that has to do with home and roots and family ties. Cancerians are great business owners relating to anything that has to do with the home. You want me to go through what some of those are? It's really neat.
Yeah. Oh, yes, please.
Real estate is restaurateur, restaurant or chef.
Okay.
Anything that makes homes beautiful, like interior decorating, or any kind of beauty business where she can pamper and spoil her clientele. And because they like to save, they're excellent savers in general, but they're really good at collecting like antiques or specialty items. And so Cancerians feel their emotions intensely, and a great outlet for all this intense emotion, it can be to tap into their intuitive side, their using imagination and artistic abilities. That's a great channel for them to move some of these intense emotions so that they don't bottle up and, come out in a negative way.
Okay.
And so some of these negative ways might be something like too much attachment, to their own family or mother or the past in general, or maybe wanting to control the ones they love now. They're really possessive on the flip side. They can not really allow their loved ones the freedom and independence that they need to be who they are. So Cancer needs to learn a little bit of detachment sometimes. But that's hard because they feel that they need to hold on to security and life as they know it. And also the feeling of being needed is very powerful. And I laugh because my mother, God love her, was a Cancer, and she used to use guilt whenever it was necessary. That's another characteristic of a Cancerian trait when it's not balanced.
Okay. Some sort of control, whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
Or yes, okay. The need to feel safe and almost, hold on and hold things tight.
Right.
How I envision it. Okay.
And it's love, and it's totally mother's love, but when they're unconscious about it, it can just come out as sort of like knee-jerking and feeling the desire to feel needed and to control and to hold on to what they love, because they feel like if they let that go, then it's too much loss for them to bear.
Okay.
And so I'm finishing up, and then we'll get into the aspects.
Okay.
So Cancer is ruled by the moon, and of course, moods can change with the tides, and oftentimes they feel, and the people around them feel, that Cancerians are at the mercy of their moods. And they're either retreating into their shell or they're unconsciously projecting their emotions to everyone around them. And so this month, Cancer or Cancerian energy is at the forefront. And the focus with this is because it's making powerful aspects to Jupiter in Libra, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and Libra is about those important relationships in our lives, those contractual relationships, whether they're our spouse or, a family member, because we come in with contractual relationships to our family members, and it's also with ourselves. But anyway, because Cancer energy is going to be squaring our relationships, this month will be on, the question is, how can we use our powerful feelings of love and bonding, protecting and nurturing to strengthen both ourselves and the relationships we have with our loved ones. Okay. So for the next 3 weeks, we have these challenging aspects, and remember, a challenge is like building a muscle. We want to get the muscle strong, and then it becomes a strength. And so the first week of this, we have Jupiter square Mars in Cancer, and this week will be June 23rd to June 30th. And so there's some strong triggers of control and manipulation with Mars in Cancer. We might see people struggling with their emotions and knee-jerk reacting for self-preservation. And of course, this will be wholly unconscious. And if you find this happening either to you or you yourself doing it, then find an outlet that we talked about before to bring out your inner creativity, maybe writing or art, journaling, meditating. And when you breathe, breathe the intention of understanding that feelings are a great tool to channel this energy into something constructive and maybe even humanitarian or goodwill. You might come up with an idea of how you can actually benefit more people than you thought of with this intuitive inspiration that you get from all these emotions.
Okay. And that's the 23rd through the 30th, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then, so like I said, each week planets take turns squaring off, and challenging us in our relationships. And so the following week, Jupiter gets to square Mercury, the mind in Cancer. So that brings up energies of Cancerian thoughts and words. We might be challenged to lash out verbally if we think we're threatened. And I see this as a terrific opportunity to see what the power of words are. Focus on the intention to be that of bonding and nurturing as opposed to protection and self-preservation. Because when you're locked into that, naturally you might feel attacked and not use words to the best of your ability and for the best of the relationship. But if you think of bonding, creating a bond, and nurturing, then I see that as being much more strengthening in the relationship. And the third week, the square is with the sun. And so the sun, with the sun in Cancer, we can really shine our light on this being the beginning of a new cycle of evolution for ourselves and how we interact with our loved ones. So meditate on seeing this time for building a strong inner foundation, right? Because that's what Cancer is about. And with that stronger foundation, the right emotion to have closer relationships. So really being conscious and aware of how we can use emotion to bring out the best. And this can be an excellent time to align with our higher and lower selves, or to not talk that way for some people, to be more practical, to infuse our personality with the aspects, virtues, or purpose which is true to our authentic self. That's what I consider aligning our higher and lower selves to be.
Okay.
And there's two more really, that's got to do directly with the Jupiter squares, but there's two other really neat aspects going on. And one of them is, it's going to go on through November. So this one is Neptune retrograde in Pisces, making a connection with Venus. No, excuse me, making a connection with Jupiter, our relationship. So that's right. Neptune, I'm just looking at the chart, I had it wrong. So Neptune retrograde in Pisces is about the misuse of those fine, subtle energies of intuition and connection to our knowing. And so with retrograde, there's this discussion going on that maybe, internal discussion, maybe we're delusional or having fantasies, and we're imagining, dreaming, and that we're avoiding the realities of life. And so it's having a very subtle, it's called an inconjunct with Jupiter, our planets of relationship. And so you don't quite know how to connect the two. That's what the inconjunct is telling us. How to connect, strengthening our relationships with this feeling that we might be delusional or having fantasies. And this goes on through November. And so we might find that relationships get tested. You know, our faith and belief in them gets tested. We might meet with confusion or disappointment. But I will say this, in order to grow, we all have to dream and take risks. And also using the energies of Cancer that we were just talking about, we can use our powerful emotions to communicate or create, you know, and use our artistic abilities to grow and create our own bond within ourselves of love. So again, if you're in a relationship, you can talk it out. If that is not possible, to use more of the creative aspects to connect with yourself. And then there's a beautiful relationship. This is what I wanted to talk about with Pluto retrograde talking with Venus in Taurus. And Pluto is the planet that controls our deepest currents in our psyche. And Venus in Taurus wants to make long-lasting relationships beautiful. And so they're having a great conversation together. And I see this as an aspect of awakening a deep need and desire to establish more meaningful connections with partners. And this time will be wonderful for the forces of attraction and affection and sensuality to get stirred up deep within us. And I think we can be particularly sensitive to these energies by intending to be more aware of them when they come up. So this will help us to discover more wonderful aspects of our loving nature deep within ourselves. So Pluto's the planet of power, and it's having a wonderful conversation with love, and the trine is making it harmonious. There can be points when power and love don't make harmonious aspects, but in this case, it does. And that's the way I see this month. I see it bringing maturity, strength, and wisdom to our relationships.
Sounds perfect to me. and our relationships within ourselves too, right? So
of course.
As I think about this, I'm reflecting on my own chart and how that will work with me. And I know that you do that, you offer that work for people.
Yes,
and it's so insightful and helpful. And I had some ideas I jotted down as you were speaking to put on my calendar, just to make notes of awareness for specific meditations that I want to do. So I want to thank you for that. It really does help, especially understanding that the planets and everything affects not only the collective but ourselves, but how we can work within ourselves and others to help amplify what needs to be done, right? So we have a deeper understanding. Oh, I'm so grateful. And Andrea, where can we find you besides on Basmati? AwakenAstrology.com.
Correct. Correct. And I will add, you have a lot of Cancerian fourth house energy, which is why you are such a nurturing and loving person, and have a lot of energy for that, and a lot of innovation within relationships, which is really neat. But, you know, I'll get into that more when we do the Open Doorway monthly reading, and I'll apply it particularly to you and your energies, Margie.
Perfect. Thank you. Looking forward to it as always. You know I love it. So, Andrea, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to the next new moon. Anything else you want to share with everyone?
I think that about wraps it up. Thanks so much.
Okay,
I appreciate the opportunity, Margie. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.